Alright guys, welcome back to Mr. Post Frame. This is the Solo Barndo Build. Today's video is going to cover Gradeboard, Overhang Jacks, and the Fascia. So we're going to go ahead and jump in the video, but as far as the Gradeboard is concerned, it really doesn't matter if you put it up before you put your trusses on or after. I just kind of do it. If I have time to put them on there, I put them on there. If I have to wait. Preferably, I like to put the Overhang Jacks on the ground. Sometimes I put them up after the truss is up, like in this case I did. I just had my dad here to help me, so I wanted to get all these trusses up, so I didn't want to take any extra time. I just wanted to use his help, get them up, and then I put the Overhang Jacks on last. And it's really not all that hard, especially if you have a scissor lift. But let's go ahead and jump into the show. Alright, we're going to put our grade board up. We use a 2x12 grade board, and I like to use a 2x12 grade board because I can get this down to the bottom of my insulation. So there's 2 inches of insulation, 5 inches of concrete, and then I still have several inches above my finished concrete floor to start all my trims and all that. So it gives you protection kind of below the top of your finished concrete, and it gives you all the nailing for your trims that you need. So all of your columns will have your marks on them. So that's the bottom of the grade board. So if this pier I know was 1 inch low, so that's why it's marked up 1 inch. So that's the bottom of the grade board. So what I do is I mark up 11.5 inches, and then I snap a chalk line, because then when I'm putting this up, all I have to do is line it up with this blue line at the top, and that makes it a little bit easier. We did that all the way around, so we're just going to start right here and work our way around. Typically, I put my overhang jacks on the ground. In this case, I did not. I wanted to show you how we do this. So this particular one, I have an overmount bracket already on it, so it'll accept my Purlin on this side and the other side. So literally all you do is I've already marked my truss where the end of this lines up. So it's as simple as just lining it up with my truss, screwing it in, and we're good to go. So I'm going to go around and put all of these on, and then once all these are on, we can start putting our fascia board on. So I'm going to take this, my line is right here. So this one is going to get butted up to this purlin. There is going to be, on the overlap purlin, there will be an 1.5 inch gap. So I'm just going to butt that up to there, line that up, and run my screws in. Two Purlin screws, and we're good to go. If I measure there, I'm 16.5, so when I add my fascia board, I'll be an 18-inch overhang. All right, I got my first 2 on. They went pretty quick, so now I'm just gonna drive down the line, putting these on, and we'll be good to go. Should probably take me a couple minutes per one, I guess. That's it. Alright guys, it took me about 15 minutes to put all the overhang jacks on, so you can see got them all the way down. Now we can put our fascia board on, and then we have this last purlin, the 2 foot on center purlin is going to go between the overhang jacks, and that's why I put those hangers on. Figured it'd be just a little bit quicker and easier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load up my lift with some 2x6 fascia boards and some 2x4 purlins, and then I can mark, or I can put them up and cut my purlins all at once as I go down the side. All right guys, so we're starting fascia board. So I start out with an 18 footer 2x6, that way I can attain my overhang, and then I come 2 trusses over where I will have a seam. And what I do on these seams, so here's my truss tail. I take a 2x6, cut the pitch on it, and laminate that on each side. That way, where my 2 fascia boards meet, I have an extra 2x that I can screw my fascia board in. That makes it much more rigid versus having 3/4 of an inch bearing. And this will increase the longevity of your fascia, and it's much easier to put up. So now that we got this up, we can put our first fascia board on. All right, so there's 2 ways you can do this. If you have an extra person to help you hold this, this isn't that bad. You can start at either end. If you're doing it by yourself, there's a few problems. One, it's a 18-foot long board. You have to be in the middle to hold both pieces, so you can't really make an 18-inch mark and line it up with the end truss because you couldn't hold this up. So what I do is I start in the middle. I put a 2x4 over the top of this truss and that one. That way I can just push my board up against it. And what I'll do is just kind of eye that up somewhere, you know, make sure it's at least in the middle, maybe a little over. I'll screw it here, go down, screw it there, cut my overhang, and then I'll come back and just mark it and cut it down the middle in place. So that's how I find that I can do this by myself. So I'll show you here, try to do this with the camera on. So the reason I put those boards on is so all I have to do is push it up, and I don't have to use my square to make sure it's a straight line coming down. So when you put your plywood on, you want to make sure it comes down and hits the edge. So all right, I got that one on, so I'll zip down here quick, put a screw to tack it. Hopefully I left enough out there for my overhang. We'll find out. Now since I have these 2x6s passed onto here, I can put screws on the side, and then I can still cut it right down the middle, and my screws won't be in the way. So I got my mark, measure out 18 inches, mark that, cut that off. And then we can just continue on all the way down. All right, so another thing we can do while we're putting our fascia on is we can cut these first 2x4 purlins that fit in between the truss tails. Now we can drop that in there, hopefully. I just gotta nailer screw those in. This bay will be done. Alright guys, so you can see here's where I just kind of lined up close, so I struck a line right down the middle. I'm going to cut that, then I can put this back, and then I can butt the next one down against this. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but you can see that second truss tail, the fascia board goes in like this, and that's because I have these straps on there and I probably tightened that side first. So we'll straighten all of this with a string line. Typically what I'll do is I'll let all the straps loose, plumb up one side, and then I'll check to see how straight it is. Usually it's pretty good at that point, but when you put these straps on, if you tighten whichever side you tighten first, it will pull the wall that way, and that's why you get this waviness. We have all of our side fascia on. You can see it goes like this. So we'll have to straighten this building once we're done, but we're going to get the gable fascia on. And so it's a long board. This can be tough. So take that same 2x4, just screw it on there, and then that'll overlap the fascia, and that'll be like an extra hand down here. I don't think I can do this and hold the camera, so like I said, I'm just going to slide that down over the fascia board and get a couple screws in up here, and we'll be good to go. Same thing here. Got that 2x4 over the end. So that'll kind of help hold it in the general location where I need it, so I can get a screw in up high, and then we're good to go. Guys, that's going to be a wrap on today's show. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you guys want to design a Barndominium, you can buy these plans, or we do custom design. Reach out to us, back40buildings.com. We'll leave a link in the description. Also, if you want to self-build, self-GC, and learn how to build post frame, join our Patreon group. It's a group of other self-builders and other self-contractors. We do lives. You get to ask me questions. Tonight we're doing a live, and I'm going to be here at this build, so I'm going to take people around the inside, the outside. They can ask me questions. So check that out. It's a great resource. But as always, if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, share with your friends, and we will catch you on the next video.